Thank you very much. Welcome back to the studio. Manchester City 8, Salford City 0. Now, we said at the start of the game it was going to be a tough evening for Salford, and it turned out quite to be a tough evening for them.
Yeah, it was for them. You know, it's finished off 8. It possibly could have been more, but I don't think Carroll could have asked any more for his boys. Just Manchester City were absolutely outstanding today. To a man, all the way through it. James McAtee will rightly so get man of the match, but there could have been 4, 5, 6 other players now that would have done it. Their attitude was absolutely outstanding, and the quality that they've got. People might say it's only Salford, but to score 8 goals in any game is fantastic, and keeping a clean sheet, they were super impressive today, Peter, weren't they?
I think the biggest thing is the likes of McAtee, O'Reilly, Mubama.
Yeah.
All of them, young players, have come out there and they've been absolutely brilliant. Well, to a man they have been. It was, we were just saying there during the game, you know, you're looking at Salford, they work hard, and then we've seen 5 subs warming up there of the quality. Haaland,
there's 5 Champions League warming up.
And you just think, can you imagine being a Salford player who they worked the socks off, did a great job for Carl Robertson, but Manchester City were outstanding, and he was brilliant as well.
Yeah, Jack Grealish, he started the scoring in the second half. I mean, it was a brilliant move from, again, the young lad up front, Mubama. He took the ball off the defender, he took it round the keeper, passed it to Jack, and Jack, with his footwork, earned a penalty and took the penalty. And how good is that for his confidence, Jack Grealish?
Brilliant, and 2 assists today as well.
Yeah.
I thought he was brilliant. As I said, got the assist for Doku in the first half. Won the penalty, scored the penalty, and a lot of people might think it was simple, but his little ball from McAtee's goal, for his second assist, was fantastic.
Hey, listen, it's a great experience at Stockport for the young kid who's on loan, the goalkeeper. You know, he must be shell-shocked, but they've got to take lessons from that. You know, if you want to improve in football, you've got to get to that level. And Manchester City were just superb all over the park, top players, and the pleasing thing, like I said, is the young lads were absolutely outstanding. Outstanding.
You talk about the quality City have got, but I'm pretty sure Carroll will be saying, and the Salford players themselves will know just how hard Man City work out at the very, very top level. The best players work the hardest first and foremost, Peter, don't they? And to take anything away from that is to look at the attitude of City, how hard they work individually and as a team as well.
Absolutely. I mean, and one of the best goals of the evening was the second one in the second half, which is Jeremy Doku setting up James McAtee. McAtee was fantastic. We'll come to his other 2 goals, but I mean, that goal, we all said here in the studio when we were watching it, that was a superb goal.
Yeah, it was a great build-up, great through ball, positive, whipped in, and his movement together to lose the defender, but the quality of the finish was. By the way, you can't defend that. You cannot defend that. I don't care who you are. When it's a quality pass, pace running, quality ball in, and by the way, the movement and finish was sublime.
The finish was fantastic because Doku's whipped it in with pace as well, and a lot of people they'll lash at that, Peter, won't they? He's just cushioned it off the side of his foot into the corner, and you know, we all know about James's ability, and it's great to see him getting match time, great to see him getting games and contributing in the games as well, you know, and saying man of the match could have went to 3, 4 or 5.
What about when he bears through O'Reilly went past about 3 of them? It's like turbo jets, it was brilliant. That's great. And like I said before, I think, you know, these young lads, Grealish got the pen in. To a man of them, they all run up.
Yeah.
They all run up, and I thought, show me a club who've got team spirit, and I'll show you a club that are on the up. And these were certainly.
I think the big thing for me with the kids when I see them playing this team, it goes back to maybe Phil broke in and then Nico, and now Cole. I know he's left now, but the kids out there today, it's getting trust of the senior players, isn't it? Is the biggest thing, and you can tell straight away that. If it's Phil, if it's Jack, if it's Gundo in the first half, if they're seeing Nico O'Reilly, or they're seeing Jamal, or they're seeing McAtee, they're giving them the ball and they're trusting him with it, and that says a huge thing about the talent and the mentality of the young kids that's coming through.
And back again to that team spirit thing, we'll go back to that Jack Grealish penalty, because one thing we did notice was every single Manchester City player was delighted for Jack. I mean, there's so much talk about our treble winner Jack Grealish, the man who's done so much for this club. There is so much talk about what he doesn't do. I mean, today was a perfect example of what he does do. He was absolutely fantastic.
Listen, he's a top player, and sometimes players get out of form, but I tell you what he does. He always puts a shift in for it. You know, he always puts a shift in. And a lad with that much ability is always going to come good. You know, he had, I think you mentioned it when he was running with the ball, the defender was trying to get his body strength as well as technique. Superb.
Yeah, a lot of these people talking about Jack, this and that and the other thing, they forget he's been out injured a hell of a long time on and off. Yeah. And it takes, Peter will tell you, if you're coming for a couple of games and you're out for 3, 4, 5 weeks a month, then you're coming back in, it takes you time to get back into the rhythm as well. And the more minutes Jack gets under his belt, the fitter he gets for the run into the end of the season. He's going to be a huge player for this club. Yeah, without question. I mean, he is a huge player for this club in general. Jeremy Doku scored the next goal from the penalty spot. I mean, we spoke about him at half-time. He had a brilliant performance. He made the poor Salford players have a torrid time, but what a player, and he offers so much. I mean, you forget how young he is as well. You're spot on. I mean, his quality, his strength, and I think the shot, it was a penalty, but confidence, I think he nicked it off Jack, didn't he? Put it down and stuck it away with aplomb. And he's been outstanding. McAtee, because he gets the hat-trick, gets mad, but you could have chosen any one of Manchester City players there. They were absolutely brilliant, except the goalie, because he had nothing to do. Yeah. Well, he made a save at the end, actually. I think with Jeremy as well, the one thing, he's been outstanding since he came in. It was maybe his end product a little bit, but we've seen, especially this season, that's improving. Yeah. You know, two goals today, 2 assists today, that he's contributing more and more. We all know his trickery and beating men, how quick he is and how hard he is to defend against, but his end product's coming more and more all the time now. Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic. I mean, James McAtee as well, we spoke about him making a hat-trick. He scored his first goal at the Etihad, then he scored his second goal as well, and that goal was another brilliant goal and lovely move from a Foden shot, and he finished it well. His touch was unbelievable. Yeah, it was. You know, but Phil will probably try and claim an assist for that one, saying that he's rifled it into him. But yeah, again, it's sniffing out that position in the box. You know, Phil's having his shot, but he's in and around it. He's on the move all the time, and the ball's rifled into him. His first touch is fantastic, isn't it? And then he's just got, say, a simple finish. And no finishes are simple, but he's just technically such a good player, and he's got such a good football brain as well. And then with 10 minutes to go, he got his hat-trick. I mean, look, what an evening for him, but also what an evening for Man City. That 8th goal with 10 minutes in the game still to go. I was picked out one from Grealish. Lovely, you know. It packed the 18-yard box, but he's got the ability get his head up and pick a pass, which was fantastic. And kids finished it marvellously well. But Jack's brilliant at slowing everybody down, and then at the right time quickening it up again. And James McAtee, again, that late run into the box. You know, it's an art, that. It doesn't just happen on the pitch. You know, it's all about timing, it's all about the intelligence of your run, and then his finish again was fantastic. So I'm so delighted for him, because he's waited so long to have his chance. He's been in and around it for so long. Turning point was possibly coming on at Leicester when he had such an impression when he came on for the goal. Involved in the goal, sorry, but and then you can see him growing and growing and growing in confidence. I think at the start of the season, Pep was saying that he's in the first team squad, but he's got to start believing he's good enough to be in there. I think recent weeks, and especially today, but we've seen that. Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, we spoke about the period we had without the wins. Let's talk about the wins now. 3 wins in a row for this football club. We mentioned that there's a feel-good factor back at Manchester City, and it's now a case of putting that run behind us, do you think, Peter, and sort of heading on into the next fixtures with a lot of confidence and belief? To be perfectly honest, I don't think any club would relish coming up against Manchester City at the moment. It looks as though, what's the word? They've got the mojo back. Yep. It looks as that. And you could tell on the park, you know, and you could tell. I'll tell you what it is as well. The supporters, you could feel the atmosphere as well. You know that, you know, there's real good, and Manchester City fans were brilliant today, and the team were as well. And players coming back as well. From injury, you know, you were talking about the bench today. I think there was 6 or 7 Champions League winners that were on the bench there, coming back fit again. Nathan got 45 minutes, Akanji got another 45 minutes, Ruben looks as if he's back in training, Oscar Bob looks as if he's back in training. So getting that squad back together and fit again, you know, we all know what they can do when they're fit and they're firing and they're strong, which they weren't. It's not making an excuse, they weren't in the bad spell that they had, but now they're coming through that, players are back fit again, they're going to be thereabouts again.
Brentford are away next in the Premier League. They actually lost 1-0 to Plymouth at home today, albeit they probably made a few changes as well. Will that result affect them much? It'll be, of course, the huge story of the FA Cup weekend is that Plymouth Argyle have won an away game for the first time in a very long time, and it was at Brentford.
Who had the best home record, I believe.
Who have the best home record, indeed. You took the words from my mouth, but then Manchester City travel there to Brentford now in Premier League, in the Premier League on Tuesday night. Do you think that the results today matter?
No, I don't think so. From Brentford's point of view, you know, I think Vissa and Mubama, there was 5, 6, 7 changes in the Brentford team today. Their home record in the Premier League has been outstanding. It's a tough place to go, but in the last couple of seasons we went down there and get really good results, and the confidence from Day, be able to rest Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, get into it fresh, all the players out on the bench, then the confidence of the players that played today, you know, they'll be really looking forward to it.
I mean, so how does City approach that game? We're so lucky that we had such strength and depth on the bench today, but it also means a rest for the likes of Erling Haaland. Kevin De Bruyne didn't play any minutes as well. Phil Foden played like a few minutes here or there. I mean, the players will be a lot fresher and preparing already for Tuesday.
We mentioned Brentford getting beat, so I think it'll be really tough for Man City. But the way they are at the moment, because Frank's a really good coach, and like we say, their home form's tremendous, and they from the first whistle, they're at you all over the park. But I've just got to see Manchester City the way I have recently, you know, look the back.
When you look at the 2 away games that City have got, so they play Brentford, of course, on Tuesday, and then they play Ipswich at the weekend away from home. And if they were to come out of both of them fixtures with 2 results, then you're looking at 5 wins in a row, and then, you know, potentially you're looking at a completely different scenario for the second half of the season.
I say that even in the bad run a couple of weeks ago, that once, keep going back to everybody being back fit again, it's City have shown over the last 4, 5, 6 years they can go and win 10, 12, 14, 15 games in the bounce, especially in this period after Christmas. They've done it season in, season out again. But for me, it's just key to keep, not your best players because they're all top players that are out there, but it's keeping them fit and keeping them hungry and getting them on the pitch and getting minutes and under their belt. And as Pete said, nobody will want to play them. They're like that. Nobody, no team in the country will want to come play Man City when they're on form.
We talked about is there too many attackers on, but they were awesome all over the place, you know, and all credit to them. And like you rightly say, the back, and you can feel it, you can see it. Even in the tunnel at half time, I thought there's an atmosphere there. You know, I know they were open all that, but you could tell, you know, the way they were milling together the players. And to be fair, when they got on the park, they were just brilliant.
And how many teams do you see a 3-0 up at half time and they just coast through the second half? There was no coasting the second half there. There was no coasting when it went to 7, they wanted 8.
Yep.
When it went to 8, they wanted to go and get 9.
I mean, it's a good time to be a City fan when you're sat next to these two people, because the one thing I will say about Paul is you've been positive all throughout, even the bad times, just like you were as a player as well. You were always there for us. I mean, look, there's a nice moment happening in the tunnel right now, and that's the Salford City players who are lining up next to the home dressing room, waiting to speak to a couple of the players they've played against. And this is pretty much what the FA Cup is all about, Peter. The opportunity for these players to have a chat with some of the players they've played against, you know.
Listen, it's a great experience, and Carl Robertson, Ryan Giggs will be saying that to the players. You know, you've played against some of the best players in the world out there, and some young lads, young players who are going to go to the top level. So that's what you have to try and get. You have to try and get that. Let it be a lesson. They've worked very, very hard. They were just against an outstanding football team with outstanding young players. That's great.
That's magnificent.
And you can
that's great.
see they've been invited into the dressing room as well.
That's brilliant.
I mean, they're third in League Two.
That's what the FA Cup's all about, isn't it?
Third in League Two. I mean, that result, of course, would have been a tough one for them to take, but that experience going into the dressing room of the 4 times in a row Premier League champions is going to do them the world of good, isn't it?
Well, that's what Paul's rightly so. That's what the FA Cup is all about. But that is what Manchester City are all about. You know, that's class. That is class. And
that's not the norm either. That's not the norm, is it?
No, that is class. And you know, you look at it and you go, yeah, that's how. It's a proper football club. you know, when you do things like that. Because you don't have to do it, you know, but it's just absolute quality. Them Salford lads have worked the socks off. They would, by the way, 8-0.
Yeah.
It's not nice, but you invite them in the dressing room. I just think Pep and Manchester City superb.
I bet you that's came for the players as well. Somebody's probably went and said, look, the Salford boys are outside wanting shirts.
Yeah.
And rather than them having to go out, I bet they've said, come on, just bring them in.
Get
here.
them in. Yeah.
Class touch.
Yeah, it's a class touch indeed. I mean, we're looking ahead now to Brentford quickly. Of course, Matchday Live will be back on the Tuesday. But first things first, we have to thank the two gentlemen in the studio. It's been an absolute honour to have you on your first Matchday
It's always good seeing this young man.
Absolutely.
He's told me he's buying me a pint as well, so I enjoyed it.
I'll tell you what, whilst the cameras are rolling, will we be seeing you again on Matchday Live, Peter Reid?
100%.
Yeah, give me a call. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I've got to say that.
And we've enjoyed having you here as well. Two absolute legends in the studio here watching Manchester City win 8-0 against Salford City. Now, of course, there is a derby coming up for the women's team in the WSL, and we want you to be there. But from us in the studio, thank you very much.
I'll be there.
I'll be there too, and hopefully you can join us there as well. Thanks for watching Matchday Live. See you at Brentford.